Hello and welcome. Today, we are diving into something that, let's be honest, affects every single part of our lives, mastering our emotional balance. We're going to look at a really practical guide for how to shift from just, reacting to things to actually choosing a thoughtful response.
So, does this sound familiar? One minute you're on top of the world, the next you're totally frustrated, and then an hour later maybe you're feeling a little bit down. We've all been on that emotional roller coaster, right? These feelings that just seem to come out of nowhere. Well, you are definitely not alone. And here's the most important thing to get right from the start. This isn't about trying to stop having feelings. That's impossible. The real goal is to learn how to manage how we react so that you are in the driver's seat, not your emotions.
Okay, so let's get down to the basics. What are we even talking about when we say emotional balance? It really all comes down to making this one tiny but incredibly powerful shift from an instant reaction to a considered, thoughtful response. First things first, what's an emotion? Well, you can think of it as a feeling that just kind of pops up and grabs your mind's attention. It's like an internal signal that pushes you to do something, whether that's good or bad. Joy, anger, sadness, it's all part of the deal of being human.
So then, what's emotional balance? It is not about being some kind of robot with no feelings. Not at all. It's the skill of reacting intelligently. It's about creating that little bit of space, that pause between the feeling and the action, so you can choose what to do next.
And this story just illustrates the difference perfectly. So picture this. Vipula lends his toy car to his friend Saman, and Saman accidentally breaks it. Vipula's reaction? Instant anger. He hits Saman. That's a totally unbalanced, inappropriate reaction. But Saman, he does something different. He doesn't react right away. He waits. The next day, he shows up with a new car and apologizes. His response was patient, it was thoughtful, and it was constructive. And that, right there, completely changes the outcome.
So, you have to ask, why did Vipula react one way and Saman another? Well, if we want to change our own reactions, we first have to figure out what's causing them. It's time to unpack our emotional triggers.
Turns out, there are about 7 key factors shaping how we react. First, there's the situation itself. Saman knew getting into a fight at school was a really bad idea. Then there's your own understanding of things, and of course, your unique personality. The behavior of others is huge. Saman's patience stopped the whole thing from blowing up. And then you've got your past experiences, your lifestyle, and even your age. All these things mix together to decide how you're going to respond.
And this is such a crucial point. Emotional balance isn't something you either have or you don't. No way. It's a skill, and it's one that you build over time. Every single experience, the good ones and the bad ones, is teaching you how to better handle the next one. It's all about growth.
All right, so we've covered the what and the why. Now it's time for the how. So let's open up what we're going to call our emotional toolkit and look at some actual practical skills you can start using right now.
First up, emotional first aid. What do you do in that split second when you feel that surge of anger or stress? When you feel like you're about to have a Vipula moment and just lash out.
Here are 4 super simple but really powerful things you can do. Counting to 10, that creates that critical pause. Taking a few deep breaths actually physically calms your whole body down. Slowly drinking a glass of water, that's a simple physical act that grounds you and breaks the loop in your head. And hey, just diverting your attention. Putting on a song, playing a quick game can stop that negative spiral in its tracks. But first aid is for emergencies. If we really want to master this stuff, we have to build our long-term emotional strength. These are the core skills that become second nature over time. Tool number 1, and this might be the most powerful one in the whole kit, is empathy. It's the ability to truly put yourself in someone else's shoes. Just think, if the Pula had for 1 second tried to imagine how bad Saman felt about the accident, his reaction would have been completely different. Empathy is like a secret weapon for diffusing conflict. Next up, effective communication. And notice this is a two-way street. It's about patiently listening to the other person, but it's also about expressing your own feelings clearly. Instead of hitting him, Vipula could have just said, "Man, I'm really sad and angry that my car is broken." That one sentence changes the entire dynamic. And finally, we have to work on building good relationships. This is all about being a little more tolerant, more cooperative, and more flexible with the people around you. When you have strong, positive connections, you're building a support system that just makes everything easier. Okay, so we've got this awesome toolkit. Where do we use it to get the biggest bang for our buck? Well, let's start in one of the most important places there is, our own homes.
Because emotional balance within a family can completely transform how everyone feels.
A really core idea here is that our emotions are often tied to our most basic needs. When we're hungry, or we feel unsafe, or we feel unloved, it is so much harder to stay balanced. Take the story of Naroda. This kid was sad and couldn't pay attention in school. Why? Turns out he just hadn't eaten breakfast. A simple, basic need wasn't met, and it threw his whole day off course.
So when a family really practices emotional balance, this is what it looks like. You're working together, like a team. You're respecting each other's opinions. You're trying to understand each other's feelings. You're solving problems instead of just fighting about them. And at the end of the day, you're sharing love and kindness. That's the foundation for everything.
So let's pull all of this together. Look, the goal here is not to be perfect. The goal is just to realize that you are in control. This isn't some magic power you're born with. It's a set of skills that anyone can learn and get better at.
And why should you even bother? Well, look at the rewards. You get to avoid a ton of unnecessary stress. You build up your self-esteem and your confidence. You create stronger, healthier relationships. You literally become a more pleasant person to be around, and you get so much better at handling whatever challenges life decides to throw your way.
So if there's one thing you take away today, let it be this. If you sometimes feel like Vipula, just reacting instantly, that's okay. The key is knowing that you can learn to be more like Saman, patient, thoughtful, and constructive. It really does just take practice.
So I want to leave you with one final thought to take with you. Think about that emotional toolkit we talked about. Counting to 10, empathy, clear communication. What is one tool, just one, that you can try to use today?